What's the difference between a ROM hack, a fan game, and a bootleg? Yes, this is a tricky slope to go into, and it's going to be very hard to do this without going into the various legalities involved with emulation and whatnot. There are some pretty obvious differences between ROM hacks, bootlegs, and fan games, and as these are some of my favorite things to cover on the channel, I think it's important that I make this video so I can clarify the differences between these types of games. So with that, stay tuned and let's go into the difference between a video game ROM hack, a video game fan game, and a bootleg slash fake slash knockoff. Welcome to Stuff We Play, home of everything weird and retro. If that sounds cool to you, why not subscribe? And we're talking about something today that pertains to many things weird and retro. ROM hacks, bootlegs, and fan games. And let's begin with defining these. A bootleg is a game that's created without the consent of the original developer, / license holder, / etc., done with the intention to earn money, which is illegal, I should mention. It is illegal to create a game based off of an IP or a property that you do not own and then to try to sell it. Where it gets murky is when we go to the next category. Fan games, and they are made to be an entry in the game series or a remake of a game or whatnot. That is once again done without the consent of the original developer, license holder, etc. But fan games are almost never done with the intention to sell. Are they still dubiously legal? Yes. But then we get into ROM hacks, which is even murkier. A ROM hack is, well, it's just a glorified mod. A ROM hack is a modification of an existing game to either give it new qualities or even transform it into what's essentially a completely different game. ROM hacks can be done with the same intentions as fan games. ROM hacks can also be put onto a cartridge and sold, at which point they become bootlegs. However, bootlegs aren't always ROM hacks, or sometimes a bootleg can be a hack of another bootleg. So to recap, a bootleg is an unofficial creation in a game series or a demake of a game, such as that version of Super Mario World for NES, and is done with the intent of making money. Fan games are not done with the intent of making money, but are still dubiously legal because you are putting something out there, even if for free, based off of a pre-existing work that you don't own. Same goes for ROM hacks, except that's a modification, and I feel that's just as legal as modding. But as said, this depends on your laws, and I know those varies from place to place, and I say this as someone who's lived in several different countries. ROM hacks can be bootlegs, or rather ROM hacks can be put on cartridges and sold as bootlegs. There can be ROM hacks of bootlegs, because a ROM hack is just a modification. But ROM hacks can also be made by fans as extensive modifications of games. Just look at Pokemon Liquid Crystal for the Game Boy Advance. And as such, they can be fan games in a way, but fan games, what separates them is they are built completely from the ground up. At that point, because you aren't hacking an original game or modifying an original game, it is a fan game. But let's say someone decides to sell a fan game. Well, at that point, in my eyes, it becomes a bootleg. What do you think about that question? If someone decides to sell a fan game, do you think it's a bootleg? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. Food for thought. And while you're at it, why don't you subscribe to Stuff We Play for more great content? Usually not like this, but I felt this was a very necessary video to make. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time.